Okay, this is the lab for DNS. So first of all, I will go to add roles and features. Next, next, next. Here I will choose DNS server. Look, when you choose DNS, it will open like this. Add feature, correct. Next, use default, please. Next. Here, click on restart if needed. Yes. Install. It will take some time. Okay, finished. Let me close my DHCP here. Okay, now to open DNS and configure it, we'll go to Tools and then choose DNS. Sixth option. This is my DNS. Okay. Now let's have a look at DNS. What do we have here? If you click here, we have forward lookup zone and we have reverse lookup zone. As in the lecture, forward lookup zone will translate domain name into IP address. Reverse lookup zone will do the opposite. The records in forward lookup zone, we call it AA or AA. In the reverse lookup zone, the record is called pointer, PTR. Okay. So let's click on the forward lookup zone and we will create a new zone. Right-click on forward lookup, a new zone. Next. Primary zone, don't change it. Use default, please. Next. Here, click on restart if needed. Yes. Install. It will take some time. Okay, finished. Let me close my DHCP here. Okay, now to open DNS and configure it, we'll go to Tools and then choose DNS. Sixth option. This is my DNS. Okay. Now let's have a look at DNS. What do we have here? If you click here, we have forward lookup zone and we have reverse lookup zone. As in the lecture, forward lookup zone will translate domain name into IP address. Reverse lookup zone will do the opposite. The records in forward lookup zone, we call it AA or AA. In the reverse lookup zone, the record is called pointer, PTR. Okay. So let's click on the forward lookup zone and we will create a new zone. Right-click on forward lookup, a new zone. Next. Primary zone, don't change it. What is the zone name? Forward. حد فيكم هنا شباب؟
كان CTT1.
Yes. Yeah, it does not matter. SCTX. Yeah, for me, X is 1. Okay. You can use the same what you have there, but here I will use another name because I have used this for another class. CT1. .AE, right? Yeah. Okay, now don't change anything here. Next. Okay. It says do not allow dynamic updates. It's okay for the time being. We'll just follow the lab. Now it is created. You see, this is my new forward lookup zone. Okay. Now I can add some records here. Did they ask you to add any record? Okay, if I want to add a record, look at here. I'll give you example. This is what's coming in the quiz and in the practical. So please have a look. Let's say I want to add a forward lookup record, or we call it a record. Okay. We have A or double A double A. A اللي هو IP version 4 or IP version 6. Okay, that's the name. Let's say this one here. Now we will give the domain name. Okay. So imagine we have a domain name that we will give it IP address, so that if the user types, let's say, www dot lab1, okay, okay, yeah. Here we are just giving the name because the domain is already there. Lab. You see here where I told you to put PTR. You know, here, if you tick on PTR, create associated pointer PTR, then you are created a forward lookup zone record and a reverse or a pointer record. Okay, so you can just tick here, so you get two records instead of one forward and one reverse record. Is it clear? Okay. Let us stop here so that everyone will catch up with us here up to this step. We will wait for a few minutes here, then we'll continue.
Okay, we continue now. I think everyone has caught up with us.
One, okay, only the name, because it's taking the parent domain from here, right? Now we will give the IP address. Does not have to be something real because we are not connected to the internet. But for instance, I will use 10.0.1.34, okay, or 30, okay. Now here there is one trick. If I choose this one here, it will also create for me a reverse record. So always in the exam, click this one because you get 2 marks. One for the forward record and one for the reverse. So always tick this one. You see now I have a record created. Okay. Lab 1, and this is the IP address. Let's create another one. Let me create one for my DC. Let's call it DC1. Okay. And the IP address, we know the IP address, 10.0.1.1 in my case. And I will create a reverse pointer, PTR. Add host. Okay. Done. Okay. Now, if I want to go to the reverse lookup zone, I want to create a record. Please follow in the lab if you want to. Now we will create, yeah, new zone. Okay, primary zone. Next, IP version 4. What's the IP address? 10.0 اللي هو subnet, my subnet. My subnet. Okay, next. Don't change anything here. Do not allow dynamic for the. Okay, now this is my reverse lookup zone. Okay. Let me, did they ask you to create something here? Any record? Let me create a pointer. A new pointer. Okay. 10.0.1. Let's say dot 31. Okay. And the host name will be MBR. Yani member server, MBR server. Okay. How about that? You see, I have a record, the opposite. I have the IP address, then the name. عرفتوا الفرق? Very good. Now let me go back here. I want to create, again, please follow up. We go to the forward, open my zone, forward lookup zone. I want to create a new type of record. They ask you this, by the way, in the assessment. This record now is called alias, CNAME, يعني زي nickname. يعني the same location, but I'm giving it another name. Okay. So remember we said DC1. Let's give DC1 another name. Okay. DC, we'll call it DC server. Okay. And this is my DC server. This is the one. So it has two names, but it's actually, this is an alias. عارفين alias يعني nickname. And someone is carrying a nickname, alias بنسميها. All right. Let's create another record. It's called mail exchange record. Okay. Let's say it is for user 1. Okay. Fully qualified is the same. We choose our server. DC1, and then OK. So how many records we have created? Forward, reverse, exchange, and alias. Okay, excellent, very good. Any questions? So please do it on your computer.
Okay, any questions about the lab? Okay, great. So now please continue your lab, and when you are done by 1:50, you can leave. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask me, or